Welcome to another episode of Day1Radio right here on Live Hip Hop Daily. We appreciate y'all watching us each and every week. Appreciate y'all listening and subscribing through our partners at CLNS Media, man. Make sure that y'all, whether you listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, whatever, man, we everywhere. So make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all tell a friend to tell a friend, man. We need them subscribers. We need them reviews. We'll shout you. You give us a 5-star review, we'll shout you out on the show. How about that? Yeah, man. What's good, though, bro?
Everything's fantastic, man. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to a easy week. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's celebrating the, well, I don't know. Do we celebrate 4th of July, or do we just, man, I got the day off and I'm at the house? You know what I'm saying? Does that count?
We celebrate the off day. I don't know too many people celebrating the 4th, man. Like, yeah, that ain't really my get down. No disrespect to anybody who does. I do want to say though, hold on, let me look this up real quick. I thought it was pretty cool. The homies at Accomplice, which is my partners from Colorado, they have a clothing brand called Accomplice. So they actually for the 4th did a small run of flags. It's called a unity flag. So It looks like the American flag. But they have a project that they took the American flag and teamed up with this artist named Nacho Becerra and did like a rendition of the American flag that's Mitch with serape, which is, like that fabric or whatnot, to show like unity with Latin people since we going through all this stuff of them putting up walls and being on this bullshit with immigration and everything. I thought that was pretty dope, especially coming from 2 white boys from Colorado. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But they always kept it solid, always held it down. So y'all look that up, man. Accomplice, AKOMPLICE-clothing.com, man. They do some real fly shit too. But I respect that, and I definitely support what they doing. But yeah, we barbecue and we kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really. And
in some neighborhoods, pop fireworks, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
Yeah, exactly. Firearms, fireworks, same thing. Just watch out. We don't really do it. My family used to do that when I was a kid. We don't really do it no more. I don't think we knew back in the day that when the bullets go in the air that they come down on stuff and people. We wasn't really thinking about that back in the day. But, hey, thankfully no one got hurt. It was the 80s and 90s. Don't worry about it. Well, yeah, man. So that's cool. It's I'm happy to somewhat have the day off, but it is what it is. But it's a lot going on, bro. My phone been ringing off the hook since yesterday.
And why is that? Text
messages and people talking crazy because I'm like the only real Warriors fan that most people know. So we free agency's going crazy. So what was it? Sunday night that LeBron announces he's going to the Lakers.
Right.
4 years, $154 million, and almost 24 hours later, it just feels like the news was just negated when Boogie Cousins decides he wants to go to the Warriors. So me and H was debating about this before we got on air. Do you feel like this is a negative thing for the league?
I don't know if it's like as negative as people are making it out to be, but I mean, I would like, as a person that watches basketball, has been following the sport, it's like, I mean, I don't want to see another all NBA player that was once the face of a whole nother franchise.
That was trash, though.
No. I'm saying
that's like being the best rapper in the St. Louis.
This man is a all NBA player, multiple time All-Star, joining a team that already has 4 of those kinds of players. So as a person that is a fan of another team or a fan of duality, a fan of balance, no, I don't really want to see that. One thing, but I am happy for Boogie in the fact that, okay, this gives him a chance to, like, if he's ready for it, if he gets back healthy, it gives him a chance to go into the postseason, because it's obviously where the Warriors are going again this season. And also, I'm glad to see him in a situation where he doesn't have to put so much pressure on himself coming back off a very, very serious, could be career-altering, if not ending, injury. You know what I'm saying? So he's not coming back into a situation where it's like, oh, man, I got to put up 20, 10, and 7 every night because the team is on my back while I'm coming back from this injury. So, like, I'm happy to see him back out here employed. And, you know, who knows, this move may see more players make similar sacrifices because this man is taking a $10 million pay cut, you know what I'm saying, to do this.
More than
you know what I'm saying?
Like, you got to think, if he would have stayed in SAC, he would have signed a $205 million deal. So this is a super pay cut, and part of that is because of, you know, issues with management and whatnot. But I'm like, I don't know what a better situation would have been. Like you said, the team is not relying on you to come in and help them win, and you got to rehab this injury. The one thing I'll say, people have been talking a lot about how not many athletes have bounced back from Achilles, especially in basketball. This man's game was never predicated on athleticism. He is a below-the-rim player that his game is predicated on skill. He can shoot, he can pass, he can back down. Like, that, he ain't tripping off that at all. So I think it's going to be interesting, man. I say, you know, come back in January, February, work your way back into basketball shape. By the time the playoffs come, it is what it is. Like, my thing is this, like, are the Warriors supposed to continue to sign dump trucks like Zaza Pachulia? Like, Zaza shouldn't even be in the league no more. This man getting a ring. I would rather somebody good get a ring than somebody who trash. I've seen Zaza get dunked on at a playground court. Like, come on, man. Like, this dude should not be on the best team in the league, period. So I'm just like, and he says no one tried to sign him, or nobody presented an offer. We don't know how true that is. That's
the thing, yeah, because, I mean, that can be true, but you got to put things in context. Granted, were we in the Las Vegas home that he was in when he made this call? I read the story about how he actually made the call to the Warriors. He called them. They didn't call him.
Same thing with KD.
You know what I'm saying?
People act like the Warriors recruited KD.
But it's like, we weren't there with him, but when you say nobody made me an offer, it's like, okay, free agency started what Sunday at 12 o'clock at night, and it's like you let 5 hours go up. Man, ain't nobody call me, bro. Nobody ain't call me. It's like, bro, it's like the sun ain't even rose yet. These folks are trying to figure this out. They're like, all right, let's use the money that we got to get what we can, you know, say we can really, you know, depend on, and then we'll get to you. It's like, usually this is and I'll say this too, this is the fastest I've seen free agency move. You know what I'm saying?
That's because LeBron made his decision
so it's like I get that also, but it's like I don't know if we could take him saying no team made me an offer as just absolute law. It's like the sun hadn't even rose yet. You know what I'm saying? You just
went through no, dude, this thing happened. It's Tuesday. This didn't happen until Monday night. Like, it was a full damn near 24 hours before they announced that they had signed him, bro. Everybody else of his caliber was getting signed. It ain't too many all-stars other than Isaiah Thomas that didn't have a deal the first day of free agency. Cats with those credentials do not sit for that long in free agency. And let's not act like all these deals don't be made before the deadline anyway. Cats be signed at 12:01. You ain't never worked out a contract in 1 minute of your entire life. So you know what it is, man. Come on. And I don't know if it's 100% true or not about, you know, no other team. I've heard that the Pelicans made him an offer and then pulled the offer. We'll never know. Like, everything is sources and yada, yada, yada. So, but it is what it is, man. Like, I feel like this is the best decision, one of the best decisions he could have made. Because, like, the other teams that are really good, like Houston already has a center if they re-sign Capella. So I don't really understand unless he was going to go to the East. You know what I mean? And I think the Celtics would have been perfect, but clearly they didn't make him an offer.
Yet.
You know?
They did not make him an offer.
You can't wait. You can't wait on that. Ain't nobody.
I'm saying, like, in this situation, I can see how teams decided to wait the same way that the Warriors were straight up with him. Like, look, bro, I know you called us, but the most we are giving you is this mid-level exception. We are not backing up a Brinks truck. We are not committing to a long term with you. This is what we got since you had the courtesy to call us.
I don't think he'll be there following this season. I think he'll go get the bag. And I ain't mad at him. Like, go get the bag. You know, it is what it is, because we got to re-sign Clay and re-sign Draymond at the end of next season. So it is what it is. Like I can't be mad at that. But yeah, people was kind of upset. And Magic, man, I love Magic Johnson. That's my favorite player of all time. You and I have had great experience with Magic, messing around at All-Star. But when you really think about it, bro, you can't be out here giving KCP $12 million a year, giving Rondo $9 million a year, and you could have signed Boogie for maybe 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. Especially because it ain't no guarantee Kawhi is coming through that door. Like I don't think the Spurs don't look like they trying to budge.
Well, it's like from things that I've read, it seems like the KCP thing might have been that's a clutch thing. So like that kind of had to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because hell, he was the main culprit in the whole tampering thing. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of had to do that, like on the
Bro, that's
with the Rondo, it's like I want to think that they're doing this. They probably did not see everything that they want to see out of Lonzo Ball. You know what I'm saying? Last season, granted, they handed him the keys hella early. You know what I'm saying? And now you bringing in LeBron, his whole circus. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so they're going to need some kind of solid veteran point guard presence
LeBron
in that.
Is a point guard. You ain't never seen Rondo play effectively off the ball. So that lets me know one of two things. Either they don't believe that Lonzo will be 100% healthy by the time the season starts, or be able to stay healthy throughout the season, or LeBron is committed to playing off the ball. Because Rondo is essentially useless if he's not dominating the ball. He can't shoot. Like, he's not going to be slashing to the rim. Like, he's 6'1". He got a hell of a wingspan, but he's 6'1". Like, it's not going to happen. So that means, to me, Rondo is dominating the ball, and LeBron is going to play off the ball, which I think is better for him anyway. But at the same time, it's a one-year deal.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that they had to bring him in for that. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? To be that dominating presence on the ball, and to probably take some of that load off of Lonzo, because they might have not have been impressed with what they saw in the first year. And I mean, LeBron had to play ball heavy all last year because, you know, he didn't have a Kyrie there to share that load with.
Shit,
you know what I'm saying?
When Kyrie was there, Kyrie could play off the ball because Kyrie can hit open jump shots. Like, we know what it is, bro. If it ain't working after 3 or 4 games, LeBron is like, look, man, give me the ball, and y'all post up over here, and we gonna do what we do. But he ain't got no shooters either, which is a problem. Like, cuz Kuzma is the only one that can shoot, really. Like, Lance Stevenson shot 29% last year. KCP ain't a consistent shooter. We know Rondo can't shoot. Like, I don't know what Brandon Ingram can't shoot. Like, so I don't know what's going to go on. Like, LeBron is most effective if he is ball dominant, if he's surrounded by shooters. But we're going to see. This has been one of the most interesting free agency periods in a long time.
Yeah, because it's been so accelerated. Like I said, usually, this is a process that happens all summer long. This has been very accelerated this time around. You know what I'm saying?
I love that these dudes is controlling their destiny, man. Signing these 1- and 2-year deals. Like, man, I'll be locking in for 6-7 years and stuck on the team, man. Get your money, man. Go where you want to go. Play where you want to play.
I think we're going to see a lot of different things happening in the NBA. Hell, we're seeing it right now, but even in the future, because I was reading in Bloomberg Business Week about how them reshifting the developmental league, which is now known as the G League, right. You know what I'm saying, where they're positioning that as a real solid alternative to going to college. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know why that is?
Because of the one and dones, and then
that's not the only reason.
And then they want to have their own farm systems for the league. I mean, because the league has doubled in the last 2 years, I think, because they're trying to get to a point where every NBA team has their own G League team. Before there was only 16 teams, you know what I'm saying? Now they're up to 25.
One of the reasons for that as well is LeVar Ball.
Oh, and the JBL
athletes to come in and do their thing. Like and they're actually in Atlanta this weekend.
Man, they are. I told myself I'm going to try to check out one of them games, but I need to get on that, man. I want to see what it's talking about, man.
I'm going to check it out. But it's yeah, that's interesting. So I'm very happy to see, like I said, these guys controlling their own destiny. You know, on the flip side of that, man, we've had a lot of, we ain't been able to really talk. It's been a lot of music that's come out over the last few weeks, you know, which has been dominated by Kanye and all these good music releases. Have you had an opportunity to sit down and listen to some of this stuff?
I listened to all of them except for Kanye because I was genuinely uninterested in what that man had to say.
Gotcha.
But I listened to the rest of them. So far, I think I'm enjoying the Kid Cudi and Tiana Taylor more than the other ones, more than the Pusha, more, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
gotcha.
Cause like with those two albums, it's like I heard a certain sense of like actual like vulnerability more than just, nigga, I'm rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw more daring. I heard more daring production on those two projects. You know what I'm saying? I heard more creative, you know what I'm saying, vocals on those projects. I mean, but that's just me personally, you know what I'm saying? But I have had a chance to listen to all of them.
I'm not a fan of Cudi, so I really didn't like sit with the Cudi. I've never been a fan.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Cudi either. But it's like, you know, but from what I heard, it's like, okay, like I enjoyed listening to it more than the other, you know what I'm saying, releases out of this, 7-song like, situation.
From how this was presented, from not necessarily from Kanye, but more so from Pusha, because Pusha kind of let us know everything that was going on because he was the first one out the gate. They made it sound like Kanye was sitting down with the MPC, banging out beats for all of these albums. But when you look at the credits, he's solely produced like 2 songs out of all these albums. Some of them he didn't produce like 3 or 4 tracks on Cudi's joint at all. So I'm like, you can't fully blame it on him because it's, you know, it's a team. Mike Dean's involved and all of that. But for across the board, it just really felt like incomplete music to me. It felt like a lot of ideas and reference tracks and skeletons and.
Well, I mean, that's what Kanye's been giving us for the latter part of the last decade. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's
I
like
don't want to say decade. I think what Life of Pablo forward.
Life of that Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was kind of scattered too. It had its moments. It had some great moments on it, like Devil in the Blue Dress, Monster, and all that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like a lot of that sounded scattered to me too. You know what I'm saying? Yeezus was all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Yeezus was trash.
You know, it's like so.
I'm not saying necessarily scattered. I'm saying incomplete ideas. Like, I want to do a song based off of this, and then we never finish the idea. It's like, okay, well, let's just put it out. Like, we haven't completed the idea. We haven't sit and really, really worked on it. Like, I feel like they were trapped to an extent by this. We're releasing an album every week on Friday. They ain't even hit Friday half the time. Some of them came out on Saturday. Like, the Nas shit was trash to me. Like, the Kanye joint, we knew that was going to be trash. Kanye, in my opinion, Kanye has not released a good, cohesive body of work since Graduation. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy has its amazing moments.
It has amazing moments.
But it sounds like a soundtrack.
Which it kind of was. He did drop a film with it. Yeah.
Yeezus sucks. I don't like 808s and Heartbreak. I understand how some people do. It wasn't my thing. Yeezus is terrible. Life of Pablo is not good. Like, but I feel like he's reached the level in his life as an artist where it doesn't matter what he drops. A certain segment of the population is gonna rock.
Right. And to your point about, you know, unfinished ideas, it's like I don't want to try to make it sound like it's deeper than what it is and try to be, oh man, he's genius, you know what he's doing. But I mean, to a degree, that is kind of like the music marketplace that we live in for the most part. Granted, we do get blessed with some very solid, cohesive projects here and there. This year in particular, we got a few of them, whether it's J-Rock, Nipsey, Craig, you know what I'm saying, albums like that. So we do get blessed with solid ideas, completed ideas, but I do think these 7-song releases are playing to like just like kind of like the culture and the marketplace of music that we're in right now. Folks throw stuff up against the wall all the time. Whether it's they just throw it up on SoundCloud and it catches fire somewhere. You had Future throwing albums out that were long as hell, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they all were like ranking high because everybody was clicking on it. Like, and all them songs like weren't completed ideas. They were just things getting thrown up against the wall because Apple Music was cutting checks. You know what I'm saying? You can say the same about More Life. You can say the same about Views, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that this was kind of playing into this like the marketplace of music right now, where it's like you don't necessarily have to have completed ideas because people have short attention spans anyway. You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, just give me a verse and a hook that I can remember and I'm good. And that can translate into some of our DJs that are out here. Man, just give me a verse and a hook, because I ain't going to play the whole song in the club any damn way. I'm not playing this whole song on my radio mix any damn way. Just give me that and we out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think it kind of plays into what's going on.
That's whack to me, man. Like, my thing is it still got to be art at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't feeling it, man. Like, and I think what makes me not feel it even more is the fact that people try to act like it is genius. No, this shit is lazy. Like, it's lazy and it's incomplete ideas, and I can say that because we've seen what good music is capable of when they really put something behind a project. Like, even Tiana came out, she was the only one that had the balls to say that this ain't my album. Mm-hmm. What came out, this is not what I was expecting. This is not what we recorded. And then recent, she was saying they were going to re-release the album the next week, but then she came out and said the sample clearances were tough, which, you know, that's code. That's always code for other problems. And she was going to unveil the full songs when they dropped the visuals. So who knows if that'll ever happen at the end of the day. But I'm like, I honestly feel like I feel like it's a wrap. I feel like all artists have to have the opportunity to fall off and come back. I don't think Ye's ever coming back.
I mean, the only situation I see Ye, quote unquote, coming back is if he relinquishes all of his other endeavors. Like, he stops making sneakers, he stops making clothes, he stops, you know what I'm saying, trying to be a reality star. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he just gets back to literally just, I'm trying to be the best rapper, I'm trying to be the best producer. You know what I'm saying? Because even like he said on the song, on the Cuddy, when he was just talking about, you know, I got to try to be the best in all of my industries and da-da-da-da. It's like, he has a lot going on. So I don't think we're going to see a quote-unquote comeback in music unless he just shifts total focus. I mean, he's managing a crew, running a label, making sneakers, making clothes, trying to stay relevant, doing this, being there, doing that. So it's like, he's not the same artist that we saw coming up where it's like that's all he was doing. You know what I'm saying? From college dropout up to graduation, that's all he was doing. The only thing he was really focused on was like making fire-ass set designs for his concerts. You know what I'm saying? Granted, he was making, but that was more so like one-offs, dibbling, dabbling. You know what I'm saying? Cashing in on the name. You know what I'm saying? Now, like, he's actually like involved in the moving of the product, the promotion of the product, putting other people on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, until we see him get all the way back focused on the music, I don't think we're gonna see that comeback that you speak of.
Do you care that Sci-Hi says that there'll be another 7-song joint for him, and that I think I've heard I think it was Bump J and Chance the Rapper will be doing 7-song.
I care about the Sci-Hi and the Chance projects, because I think those two particular artists are, you know, people that I think Kanye will actually goddamn fucking around and like hone in on the music for, and you know they're going to take the music serious too. All the other artists that we see is like, these are artists that, you know, have been around dude for the last, decade pretty close, and they just kind of just going in there just doing whatever and figuring, oh man, people gonna love whatever we put out anyway. You know what I'm saying? We haven't heard a whole Chance and Kanye. We haven't heard what that could sound like. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you still have faith.
No, I have faith with those particular two artists. One because I like Sci-Hi, and one because I like Chance's music. You know what I'm saying? And I was always curious to see what a whole Kanye and Chance could sound like, because they've given us glimpses of what can happen when they are together. You know what I'm saying?
I like Sci-Hi too, but Sci-Hi is seriously drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, if you focus on what he's saying on Twitter and defending Kanye at every turn, so I feel like whatever Kanye says, that's what the music will sound like, and that ain't been good lately. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I feel like the Push album was cool. If I had to rank them, like, the Push album was cool. That's probably number 2. I like Tiana album. Even though it's not what it should have been. Like, it had its moments. I'm not feeling Kanye joint, and I didn't listen to the Cudi joint, but the Nas shit trash. I mean, none of them are number 1. They're all fucking average as shit or trash. Like,
so there is no number 1.
There is no number
there's
1.
Only a number. There's only a number 2 and below.
There is no number 1. Number 1 is still wide open. Whoever. If the Chance or whatever. But yeah, I'm like, for all the hype that came with this releasing 7 songs and all this stuff around it, I feel like if the hype wouldn't have been around it, these joints would have failed miserably. Like, they needed to do all that extra talk and all them interviews and going on TMZ and yada, yada, yada to make people pay attention, because they would have sucked. Like, ain't nobody talking about none of these projects. Like, and we within the last 3-4 weeks.
And I still, like, granted, I don't even be out in the street like that, but I still kind of gauge things on, like, am I hearing people riding up and down the street? Am I hearing this in folks' car? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I was hearing Nipsey in folks' car. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was hearing Crit in folks' car. You know what I'm saying? So I still kind of judge things like, am I hearing this when I'm in the street and I'm like, or people in the car riding this? You know what I'm saying? When I drive past 5 Points, am I hearing this blasting out of something somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Am I hearing this in certain stores, like not Urban Outfitters and shit like that, but like spots? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I having conversations with these albums with, you know what I'm saying, the homies like Sean Dew and Kumite at Walters? You know what I'm saying? Am I hearing cats talk about this at the barbershop? You know what I'm saying?
You're not. So, not at all. One, I will say, and we'll get into some of the other stuff, but I will say the album, to me, that you hearing people, and probably because it was a slow burn and they're actually rolling it out correctly, is that J-Rock Redemption. Yeah. That's what people are really talking about. That's what people are gravitating towards, because it's quality music, and it feels like the whole building is behind it as far as TDE is concerned.
And it was a very honest album. It's it's like we hear so much music, even though if it sounds good, like, we don't hear like actual honesty. Cats like skate around stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. Like, I ain't saying everybody has to be an artist that puts all of their business out in the street, but it's like when you listen to a Nas album, knowing that this man is well over 40, you know what I'm saying, done been through some shit, seen some shit, you know what I'm saying. Granted, he did put a lot of that out on, Life is Good. But it's like, like, I'm pretty sure some more life has happened since then. You know what I'm saying? So for you to, like, kind of skate around things, you know what I'm saying, it's like, but like with this J-Rock album, it's like, man, this dude is really talking about, bruh, I ain't rich and I had to pay for this damn surgery from that motorcycle accident that almost took me out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't hear that. Like, a lot of folks just assume, oh man, you're on the most popular rap label in the world right now. You are well taken care of. It's like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
nah, that's super real. What did you think about I guess the 2 marquee releases of the summer so far, the Carters and Drake?
The Carters was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really have any expectations of it because, I don't really have any favorite Jay-Z and Beyonce together songs. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when it was coming out, I didn't really have any high expectations for
well,
it.
It came out of nowhere, so
right.
it was hard to have expectations.
Right.
Like,
you know,
we heard rumors that they were working, but we've been hearing that for the last 2-3 years. So when they dropped it on that Saturday, it was like, oh shit.
But I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It was cool.
I think that it reminded me of kind of like, I feel like a lot of these tracks were definitely from that Watch the Throne era and the 444 era. Like, they sat on some stuff because it was real, like, soulful and real easy, free flowing. Like, I thought it was cool. I thought it definitely represented, like, black excellence. Like, this is a couple that's at the top of their game and they can just do what they want to do, and they gonna stunt, and they gonna talk about generational wealth, and they gonna talk about black empowerment, but they also gonna talk about nigga shit. You know what I mean? To a lesser extent. And I thought it was fly. Like, I've never been the biggest Beyonce fan. I don't even know if I've ever heard an entire Beyonce album in one sitting. But, you know, obviously I've been a Jay fan since before Reasonable Doubt, and have not been a Jay fan and then become a Jay fan again. So I thought it was cool. Like, it's just weird that, like, I feel like something like this, like, maybe like 2-3 years ago, would have been a much bigger presence.
I mean, we get a lot thrown at us these days, man. It's like there's not a lot of room for stuff to breathe now. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like we get a lot thrown at us. So it's like, you know, things that would have been huge events at one time, they evaporate so fast.
Yeah, and
you
it's
know what I'm saying? It's like this is one of those things where it's like, the only bigger way it could have came out is if it was like right after the Super Bowl, the new Beyonce Jay-Z album was going to drop after their, you know, halftime performance. It's like, but like nowadays, it's like you can be the biggest name on earth. You come out with an album, folks are literally on to the next thing right after they listen to it, because it's right there. They're like, okay, I'm going to click on this album. Oh, done with that. I'm about to click on this next album that's right here under my thumb. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like for artists of their caliber, the fact that this is not like through Sony or through whatever, like I don't even think they're working at a radio. I think they're just doing their tour, because this tour started overseas, right? Yeah. So it's like, it could be one of the things like this all you hear driving through the hood in Paris since they started their tour in Europe. But it'll come here, because it's weird. Like, instead of like the radio budget, people will drop visuals, and then you have the super exclusive stuff through Tidal. So it's like a different business model than the average situation. Because people was talking about the first week numbers, but it's like, dude, they released it on a Saturday, so they lost a day there. I don't think it came to Apple until like that Monday or Tuesday, so you lost 2 or 3 more days there. So it's like, you really can't pay attention to numbers if it's not available everywhere. And Tidal only has 3-4 million subscribers, so, you know, what can you say? Did you listen to Aubrey's album?
You know what? I listened to all of the rap half. And I'm gonna and I'm gonna pat myself on the back
because you got through it.
Because I got through it. This is the first Drake project that I've gotten through in years. Because like I've said before on this show, that music tends to be hazardous to my health. I tend to fall asleep at the wheel on 20, on Memorial, wherever I'm driving, trying to listen to this man's music. But I did make it through the rap path. I got to Ratchet Happy Birthday on the singing side, and like I was like, okay, I'm pushing myself a little too far here. I'm gonna, you know, so I'll come back to this. But I made it through the rap path. For the most part, I was pleased with what I heard, man. It's like, I want to shout to homie Rodney Carmichael. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wrote an interesting article about it before it came out. He wrote an interesting article on NPR saying this has to be the album where Drake really makes himself even more vulnerable at this point, because he always had that reputation of like being emotional and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, yo, your business is out there. You have to address this, and you have to address this in a real way. You kind of have to a degree, concede defeat. You know what I'm saying? You really got to like make yourself look open on this album, and I think dude succeeded with that on this album. Like, he didn't necessarily like try to ignore anything that had been swirling around. He addressed things, you know what I'm saying? Like, he let it be known, like, yo, bro, like he didn't explicitly say, man, I done fucked around, you know what I'm saying? But he did address things, and he did,
He addressed them. This is my question. If you and I get into a skirmish and your OG talks to both of us and tells us to chill, and we chill, and then I hear in the streets that you talking crazy about me without saying my name, it can get a little weird. Like, dude, the whole fucking rap side, at least 7 of the songs, is him addressing Pusha without saying the name, but you didn't want it. So why are you addressing it?
I mean, he obviously did want something at some point up until
that 8 out of 10 song. I feel like is the song Jay Prince was talking about. 8 out of 10. I feel like that's the song he was talking about, where he was coming at Drake, and certain lyrics could have been changed, but that's not career ending.
I think that whole career ending thing. I didn't really buy into all that.
I feel you. I feel you. I thought it was. I'm the same way. I listened to the whole rap side. I skimmed through the R&B side. I've always said, and I have to correct myself and say I was wrong. I've always said that I don't understand why Drake likes to sing R&B when he's a marginal singer but an exceptional rapper. After listening to this whole rap side, I don't feel like he's an exceptional rapper. I feel like he only rapped here and there because he knew his limitations. Like, Drake has essentially been making the same.
That dude be rapping, Shaw.
Let me
this album, I feel him.
Let me finish my point. I feel like Drake is capable of being an exceptional rapper, but I feel like he's trying to be something. I feel like he's a caricature. Like he is a prisoner of his own success. Like, I don't know if it's possible for him to make an honest, vulnerable album to where he just goes in and just kills it. And that's that. Like, this shit is real, like, mundane. Like,
at this point, I look at him the same way you can look at a certain kind of, like, athlete, whether they're a basketball player or a football player. Like, you got somebody where it's like, they come in the game, they just dunking on every goddamn like Rasheed Wallace. Like, Rasheed Wallace came in the game, he just banging and dunking on every damn body. And after a while, it's like, you know what, man, I probably need to, shoot a little more so I can last longer and play better. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the way I see Drake. Like, we all, at least it took me just this year to be like, man, this dude be rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always knew, like, I always respected his pen, and it was like, when he got that dude on that duppy, I was like, man, they just leave this light-skinned dude alone, man. This dude be rapping, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I look at him the same way I look at somebody like a Rasheed was like, dude can obviously bang and dunk on the best of them, but he has positioned himself to a point where there are Drake fans that don't want to hear him rap. You know what I'm saying? There are tons and millions of young teenagers and other people that are like, I like when he just sings. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there are a lot of people in this world that don't want to hear him actually rap.
22. Drake is 30-something years old. So I'm like, bro, how long can you continue to make music that is not for your peers?
I mean, shit. I mean, he's figured a way to do that. I mean, even when he first came out, though, like, it was more so younger people that were attracted to his music. You know what I'm saying?
Because he was 21. We forget Best I Ever Had came out in 2009. So he was in his, mid to early 20s. So I don't know. I'm listening, and granted, I've never been the biggest Drake fan. Like, I get it. I see why people are. But it doesn't, like, his music doesn't move me. Like, it's very surface to me. And that's, like, when I listen to it, I'm like, okay, I don't believe, especially the talking tough shit. Like, bro, I don't believe you. Like, so, and half these dudes are suckers, but, like, make it convincing. That's one of the reasons that I really like J-Rock album, because I know he's telling the truth, like you said. So I'm just like, I get it. Like, I'm really wondering what the life of this album is going to be, especially when you have, like, Spotify users saying that they want their money back from the month because they've been inundated with just Drake. Like they're forcing them to.
I mean, that's been the get down of the Drake rollout for the last 3 hours. Because I remember when that Views came out. Bro, like I was having nightmares about that damn album because where I was writing for at the time, we were posting about Drake 5, 6, 7 times a day. And I would go to like, bro, if I hear this, because the way they promote it, they're putting out these morsels like, here's the corner of the album cover. Here's a snippet of this song. Here's here's a blurry pic of the track list. It was like, God damn, how much do we have to write about this album? So that's been the get down for like Drake's promotions over the last 3 albums. So it's like, when folks are complaining about that, like I can see why. Like that's been how they've been promoting this man's music across platforms.
I can't knock the hustle, but damn, like it ain't like. And then what's up with the Michael Jackson thing? Like, how did that happen? Like, how he get Michael Jackson? Like, was it? I don't understand this.
I mean, Mike dead and things change hands. You know what I'm saying? It's like. We know the family ain't over there making the decision. Like you get to have this song.
Rest
like,
in peace, Joe Jackson.
Like these are people that we probably don't even know, ain't never heard of, that are making decisions about what Mike voice ends up on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like
I thought that was weird, and I'm like, it didn't even really sound great. And then
it probably going to the highest bidder. I mean, it's like if I'm the person that's running his estate, and I'm like in charge of strategically putting Mike's voices on certain tracks, it's like, why would I not do it with Drake, one of the most popular rappers on the planet? Like, it ain't like Project Pat asked for Michael Jackson verse. Like, hey, bro, I need this Mike verse. Like,
might be dope, though.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know
what I'm saying? You kind of have to, if you're going to give it to any rapper, like, you got Jay-Z, Drake, or Snoop Dogg to choose from as far as, like, popular rappers that or might be worthy of talking to about getting a Mike verse. You know what I'm saying?
It's an interesting album. Like I said, the R&B side, it ain't really for me, but I'm sure some people like it. The rap side, well, it was cool. Like, I like 3-4 joints, like most Drake albums. I like 3 or 4 joints. Your girl is on the end of the rap side, and I thought they really utilized Tidra Mosley's all wrong. Like, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, y'all couldn't get the clearance for Aaliyah, so y'all just got Tidra Mosley to sing. Like, Tidra can sing, and she dope. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
But, hopefully y'all like it. I honestly, and granted, it's only been a couple days, but I don't feel like this is like normal Drake album buzz. I feel like it was like 24 hours of people posting memes because he's essentially a meme and Instagram caption rapper. Like, that's essentially what he does it for. And I ain't really seen shit.
Is he on tour right now? Is he? Because usually
Migos tour. When does that start? Did it already start?
I'm not sure, but like usually his albums drop with like a tour, and if that's not the case this time, it's probably why, because he ain't just like moving around heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just saying like people talking about it. So I don't know. But whatever. Like, we'll see. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be called all kind of haters. Whatever, it's fine. Shit happens. Can I
ask you a question? Did you think that Pusha T made him change the album? Because I don't think like the whole first half, like you said, was about Pusha T.
It's definitely I think he definitely went in
that armor.
I think he definitely went in and rewrote some bars for sure. Because it's a lot of subs.
At the whole first side?
Yeah. A lot of subs.
I thought Jay Prince said you're not supposed to put the artists out here.
Yeah.
Do y'all respect subs?
Not yet.
Subs, like it's like not really like if it's clever and pointed enough to where it's like I know who you talking about, I can, but it's like if it's just kind of thrown out there and it's like, oh man, I wonder who he's talking about or who he's afraid to talk about. Like, no, but if it's a thing where it's like if it's cleverly put and it's like, okay, I know who this person is talking like if it's something on the level of like Biggie on Brooklyn's Finest, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? The Faye had Tupac, baby, Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's on someone on the level of that, yeah, but if it's just something that you just throwing out in the wind, like, guess who? It's like, no.
like with Jay. Like, Jay is a perfect example. Like, Jay always drops subliminals at rivals.
That's
but
why I say we gotta respect it.
But
it's fire.
But the song that people respect as a diss song from Jay-Z is Takeover. Because he went for the jugular. So if it's leading to something, I get it. But I don't I don't know, man. Like, I'm just like, dude, if you gonna come at somebody, come at somebody. Like, period. Like, you ain't finna do shit. Like, so just leave it on wax. And y'all come at each other and tell the weed carriers to chill out.
Hilarious,
and that's that.
Now, my wife enjoys y'all critique on music, and she said, why y'all ain't talking about Cardi B? Because she's popping. And I'm like,
that album came out like 3 months ago.
That's right.
We talking about the stuff that came out like super recently. Although Cardi just had her joint went #1. I think it's amazing the fact that she's pregnant and can't really do a lot of shit, and that album is still bubbling. But what's crazy, even crazier, is I feel like if Atlantic was not a singles-driven label and they were actually like really, really putting the building behind her, that this shit would be at like 10 million copies. It's like, she's a fucking star, like, period. And I can't wait, like, because she's doing One Music Fest. She's a headliner for One Music Fest in September. So y'all get your tickets for sure. I think that's going to be dope because I think that's her first big show, like, since forever. So that's going to be pretty ill. But the album is dope.
To black folk.
Yeah, Coachella was like before. Like, they barely paid her for Coachella because she signed on early and she wasn't a headliner.
And she's... we not even talking about Nicki, and she's doing shit, but everybody's still talking about
Nicki album come out in August. I'm wondering, do people care?
Nah. Them two, the last performance she just did on whatever the
BET Awards.
Yeah, you don't hear no.
It was okay.
About it,
it was decent. It was okay. I feel like Nicki has to reinvent. I feel like Nicki has to reinvent herself as an artist, because I don't feel like people really are gravitating towards the same thing that she's been doing with the voices and the noises and the over the top. Because to me, like, her personality doesn't say, like, you can tell there's a distinct difference between Onika Mirage and Nicki Minaj. Like, you can tell. It's like night and day. And nowadays, people kind of want to see who you are. I feel like she's always in character.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm still waiting for the damn Remy album. Like, what the fuck? Like, can we get the album? You know, drop 18 million singles. Can we get it? And they talking about her and Pap is pregnant now, so we might have to wait a long time for it.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
Breaking news.
We both of us happened to be at this screening last week.
Oh man,
we got to talk about that before we go. So it's a joint called "Sorry to Bother You" coming out July 6th. I think it's limited release July 6th, wide release the following week, and it's an interesting movie. What did you think of the joint?
No, I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed it. Shout out, you know what I'm saying, to the creator of the film, Boots Riley of the Coup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I knew I wanted to see this film as soon as I saw the trailer and his name flash up, like, from the mind of Boots Riley. Like, what? They let Boots make a movie, shawty?
If y'all don't know, the Coup, C-O-U-P, go and look it up on your streaming services. This is one of the most revolutionary rap groups. These cats talk that shit. They actually had an album called Steal This Album.
Yeah.
That's how anti-capitalism they are. So this dude wrote and directed a movie that found his way into Sundance and the Cannes, I believe.
And he hustled it all the way to the top. Did you read the New York Times profile?
I haven't read the whole thing.
It's like he hustled that movie all the way, like it true Boots Riley stuff. You know what I'm saying? How the film even got into the hands and eyes of the people that pulled the trigger to get it released on major screens. It's like he hustled it all the way to the top. Like, go back and read that New York Times profile about how he got it into people's faces, and tell me if it don't remind you exactly of how he got down on Fat Cats, Bigger Fish.
Yeah.
It's like reading it, it's like, bruh, this man really did that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the film is concerned, I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. it's almost impossible to talk about it without giving it away.
Yeah, we can't give you the twist. Just know that there's a twist in the movie. That's a crazy twist that you're gonna be like, what the hell?
But it's very much worth seeing, though.
It's 100%. Lakeith Stansfield, from who y'all know from Atlanta, did his thing. Tessa Thompson, who plays his girlfriend Detroit in the film, did her thing. They talking about like Oscar nominations and stuff for her.
For her?
Yeah. Like, I mean, come on, you know.
I mean, she did her thing. It was like, but
I don't necessarily. I think Lakeith Stansfield should be nominated for an Oscar over her.
Because there was a lot that was left to be desired with her character, from
100%.
You know, some of her lines to her motives to even her fashion choices. Like, okay, like you keep flat. No, like as far as like, you know, she was wearing very distinct earrings, but they were never giving you the reason, like,
behind there.
Why do you keep flashing what she's wearing and not explaining like where it came from?
I think the film, like, purposefully, there's a lot of satire, there's a lot of subtlety. Especially there's one scene where we won't give it away, but like the main.
About, though, 'cause I don't.
All right, so like, okay, you can't talk about what it's about. So, it's about a guy that's living in Oakland who, you know, as we all know, Oakland has a lot going on as far as, like, you know, income gap and disparity right now. So he's coming up in that, you know, so he's living in his uncle's garage, struggling to make it. He gets a job at a telemarketing agency, and he lied to get the job, which was funny as hell. That was a funny ass scene.
Yeah.
He lied to get the job at the telemarketing agency, and he's trying to sell whatever they're selling. And Danny Glover, who's starring in it, he tells him, "Yo, man, you need to use your white voice." You know what I'm saying? And so he starts to use his white voice, and he moves up the ranks in the company to selling other things that, you know, the regular telemarketers aren't selling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, you know, it's a textbook, you know, anti-capitalism type plot. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know,
most definitely. It's dude, there's so much satire in the film that it's one of them joints that you probably got to see twice to really catch everything.
No, I caught everything. I caught everything there. Like, this certain parts of that movie I don't want to see twice. You know,
I feel you.
I think I got it all in one sentence.
I feel you, but it's a lot. It's a lot for sure. But shout out to Boots, Riley, and everybody who was involved in making the film. Rest in peace, Pam, the Funkstress of the G.O.O.D, for sure. But it's amazing to me that in this day and age, that somebody that is that blatantly pro-black and that blatantly anti-capitalism could be able to get a film that, you know, was nominated for a Jurors Award at Sundance and basically is getting a major push.
But it's like film. Like I think. I think sometimes we think that things are a little more lots of words right now, but I don't think it's that difficult to get some messages out there. No, saying because saying like when you have a person like Boots Riley get a film like this made and out there, and similarly like the talk of the town at Sundance, what was it, 2 summers ago, was Birth of a Nation.
There's
granted,
difference.
Granted, that film was not as good as we thought it was going to be, but as far as just like that film being something that caused a major bidding war, given the history of, like, I mean, Nat Turner wasn't somebody that they just talked about in our history books like that. You know what I'm saying? So to have a film be able to get made about that person, I mean, you know, so it's like sometimes I think when things are presented to the check writers, like all they're thinking is, ooh, shit, this is gonna be some shit. How can we capitalize? I don't think they're even really tripping off of, ooh, shit, right, this is gonna give black people some ideas.
This is why I disagree with you, because when Birth of a Nation got bought, we saw all the drama come out with Nate Parker. Like, there's always some bullshit that comes whenever something like this gets done. Hold on. And there is no white savior in this film.
No, not at all.
So those are things that usually come along with it. Now, granted, I don't know how widely released it's going to be. They say it's going to be a wide release on the 13th. I don't know how many screens it's going to be on.
Being put out by Annapurna Films, and it's like, you know, I don't think a lot of their films just like get wide releases anyway.
But it's getting pushed.
No, it's getting pushed.
It's got
like
95 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's they've been rolling out. They've been doing the rollout like heavily. So I'm very curious to see what's going. I honestly don't think a lot of these folks really know who this dude is. Like, and I think they gonna know who he is before it's all said and done. Don't let this man win an Oscar. That speech is gonna be one for the books. Believe it. Please believe it. But before we get up out of here, man, some could be good news. Have you heard that C Murder may be getting released?
Yeah, I heard that.
And I say good news because the streets been talking for a decade that C Murder is not the person who committed this murder of the kid in New Orleans, and the person who the streets believe did commit the murder is no longer living. So, and that's as much as we'll say because we ain't in the streets and I don't want no problems. But the gentleman who witnessed recanted his statement, so they're fighting to get C Murder. Let's Corey Miller out of jail. I think this whole C Murder thing is one.
That definitely did not help. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're trying to tell the judge, I did not commit this murder. Oh, so what do they call you out there?
C Murder.
You know what I'm saying? Like that did not help at all. You know what I'm saying?
So hopefully, man, if he is innocent, which most of us believe he is, that he gets out. Now, I was happy to see that P. Because, when we had P on the show, it seemed like the relationship
very tattered.
Was real strange. Yeah. So it seems like that they back rocking.
Yeah, it still seems strange. We talked to him at A3C 2 years ago.
It did, definitely. So it's good to see that they back rocking, man. So, prayerfully that will push. Hopefully they should let him out in time for Essence, man. Have a good time. You know what I mean? But, we appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all listening. Make sure that you go on our social media and follow us at Day1Radio. Make sure that you rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you watch podcasts. Comment, let us know what you like. Let us know who you'd like to see on the show. And we'll see you next week with another dope show.